Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how we can create infinite inventory, because I've realized that at the moment our inventory doesn't make much sense, because in most of the games you would either have limited amount of slots or weight, but we are using both. So instead we're just going to create as many slots as we actually need depending on the items in the inventory. So first thing, let's open our inventory widget. And in here we need to resize this and add the scroll box. So for the inventory, go to this top border. At the moment we do have a size to content, so uncheck it. Then on this inventory switcher, we need to resize it to the whole thing. So anchor, Control and Shift and click. Now as you can see, inventory would start on the top here. So we want to have a space for that bar. So let's select the inventory switcher and offset top by 50. And then now we can add the scroll box. So right click on the inventory and wrap it with scroll box. And in here we can change few settings. So first I'm going to do always show, just so we can test it out. Compile and save. Now I'm going to play the game. And as you can see, I can only fit at the moment 5 times 5 slots, but I want to always have at least 36, which would be the minimum. And only after we have more than 36 we're going to show the scroll bar and scroll. So let's just resize this box. So select the border again, and for size X I'm going to do maybe 700, this one 750. Let's see. Alright, that's a little bit better, that actually fits. And the scroll bar is, as you can see, there is a bit of space, so it could be on this side instead, which would look better. So I'm going to change the padding. So select the scroll box, search for padding, and you do have a scroll bar padding here. I'm going to actually remove left padding as well to 0. And then right padding I'm going to do, if you do 0, it moves it only slightly, but I want it all the way on the edge, so I'm going to do -10. What you could do is also do -20, and that would put the bar outside, which in some cases it might look actually quite nice. In some cases, but you know, then I don't know if some of you would prefer that. So instead I'm just going to leave it at -10, so all the way on the edge. Bar thickness is one thing that you can't really change because this is at the minimum already. You can just increase the size. If you wanted to have a thinner bar than this, you would have to actually have a texture for it and set the image. But for me this size is fine. All I'm just going to do now is check if it fits. So you can see it's not as disruptive, so I'm just going to change the color. And that is actually one of the settings on the thumb. You can see there is a lot of different settings, so you can play with it if you like, but then here I'm going to change the normal thumb image, and I'm going to turn on the alpha to 0.5, and I'm going to do same for hovered, but I'm going to do 0.6, and on dragged I'm going to do 0.6 as well. And now I do have slightly gray bar, but it doesn't bother me anymore. It's not so much in the eye, so I'm going to hide it now. So always show and uncheck it. Now compile and save. And now what we need to do is also do the same thing for a quiver. So let's again right click, wrap it with scroll. Actually, is it going to be easier if we just copy the whole thing? Probably. Yeah, let's do that. So copy the scroll box, remove this quiver grid and paste it there in that border, and this will be quiver grid, so we don't have to set the scroll bar again. And this one, second one, let's make this a variable as well. This will be inventory scroll box. Scroll box is variable, and this one will be quiver scroll box. is variable. Now the quiver grid, we just need to reload. So get it, and here as well. Because I've deleted it for a second, so it doesn't find it. All right, compile and save. Now to generate slots, I want to obviously I don't want to generate 1 or 2, and then there would be, you know, you would have six rows with 6 slots, and then suddenly you would have 2. So we always want to generate 6 slots. So for that we need to create a new function, and this will be, we can make it here in the inventory, and we'll call it calculate inventory length. Here we will need the input integer, and this will be inventory length, which will pass it to this function. And in the event graph, we can, let's make this a pure function as well. So select it, make it pure, and then in the event graph, we will get it, and we need to connect the inventory size. Let's actually go to build inventory first. So here, so we get a player reference. We don't need inventory size, we need this, the length of the inventory. So let's get it again. So to check how many items are inside the inventory already. So length, and then we connect it to this function. Now inside, we will also need the output, which will be new inventory length. And here we're going to calculate, first what we need to do is division. Division, it doesn't show me, just right click and search division. And this whole and remainder. And we're going to divide this by 6, which is amount of slots in the row. And then from that we're going to get a remainder. So if, let's say we have 40 items, we divided it by 6, and we are left with 4 remainder, and this will be 6, but we don't need this return value, which is actually the dividend or divider, and whichever it is, but we need the remainder. And we're going to make literal string integer, sorry, make literal integer, which will be 6, and we will subtract this remainder. So from the full row of slots, we're going to subtract the remainder and add this to the actual inventory length, which we can promote to variable. We can do local. This will be just the length, and we will set it to this. So wait, yeah, now we need to add it to inventory length. We need to get it actually, and we can just do from here and add it to this part. That will convert it, and add this part here, the remainder, and then set it. So set the length. Now we can also return it. So get length, and we'll return it. So this will calculate it. Generally we will always have at least 6 slots, but we want to have a minimum of 36. So what we need to do is do branch check, and we need to check if the length that we have calculated is less than 36. And if it is, we're going to set the length to 36. If it's not, we're just going to return the length without changing it, because we have already set it. And then here needs to be return note. And then, this one here. And then one more thing I want to do is, if there's no remainder, so if it's 0, so let's say we have 36 out of 36 items, we don't want to just generate no other slots, because then it will look a little bit weird, it will be completely full inventory. So we also want to generate 6 if this remainder equals 0. So let's set up before this, before we add it, and if this remainder, this remainder here, no, this remainder, remainder equals 0. Doesn't matter, it can be this one as well. This one equals 0. Then we want to add 6 more slots. So we're going to get the length, add 6 more, and set it. Let's move it back a bit. And if it's false, we just get this length from here that we have actually calculated. Alright, so divided, remainder, minus, then plus to the slots. And length, okay. This seems to be all fine. Connect these both things here. 36 and less than 36, we have length. Alright, compile and save. So we have calculated how many slots we need to create. Now in the event graph, we can connect it here, but again we need to do -1 because this starts with 0. It needs to start with 0 because we do have this inventory and get, okay? We could have actually calculated it here, but this is called calculate inventory length. And length is actually this number, not the -1, so do -1 after and connect it to last index. Let's do the same thing for the quiver. So we do have a build quiver here. Paste it here. Instead of inventory, we're going to get quiver, and then we're going to connect it here and do -1. Now we don't need this part. We can compile and save, and now we won't see it much because this still will be 36 slots and quiver as well. We actually need to make sure that we see when we highlight this button because I'm in 2 different inventories. So we'll do that in a minute as well. But what I want to show you is if I have changed this thing in this calculate length. So let's say we'll just return here 6 slots. So if it's smaller than 6, then we return 6. And this way we'll start with only 6 slots. Now I pick up some items. Pick up 5, nothing. I pick up 6 one, I open the inventory. I do have 6 more. Okay, because now I didn't have more space, so it generated 6 more slots. If I pick up another 6 items, so 4, nothing, 5, nothing. I pick up 6 and I got another 6. Alright, and this will generate as many slots as you need until actually we have more slots than we can fit, and that way it will start scrolling. So it will show the scroll bar and start scrolling. And let's set it back to 36. Now this will actually make a lot of the function we are using much easier, because we don't need to check in a pickup function, for example, for success if we have a space, and we can just add the items to the inventory all the time. So now if we search for if you don't have the find result, just Ctrl and F, it will pop up. And then search for pickup item and do this one, find. Then we have all the cases that we are using pickup item function. This is the actual pickup item function. We can change it. So where we are here, we're checking if we have space in the inventory. So we don't even need to do this. I just want to know where we are connected. So is arrow, this one we will need. So remove this length part, remove this whole create notify that we don't have space in the inventory, remove this branch and connect this directly to add, because we don't have to check it. And now, do I have the search result still? Probably not. Yeah, I do. So go to the next one. And as you can see, we do use it quite often. So here we are not using the success. This is just picking up the item. Actually, one more thing in the pickup item, we can remove the success thing now, because it will always be a success. So we can remove this part. Compile and save. And now if I play the game, yeah, it shows me all the errors. So go to interactable items. And here you can see that if it's a success, we will create a notify, but we don't need to do this branch check. We will just always create the notify. Then try to play the game again. We go to crafting. Here, again, we got success. So it fails. We can remove this branch check and just connect it directly. This second one here, local, not enough space. This is where we're crafting multiple. So we can remove this. We can remove this whole branch check. We don't need to drop the items. Connect it. And then quantity 1, return success. I don't think we even need to return success here. If the quantity is greater than 1, success. Right, that should work. Compile and save. Play the game again. Trade inventory icon. Here we do have, what is the issue here? So this is when we're buying stuff. So again, we don't need to break it. We can remove this branch, connect it directly, remove this part, and create notify false. This we still need. Compile and save. And then there was one more. Loop container. We do have success again, so remove the branch and just connect it directly. Compile and save. There is one more probably, yeah. So this one is a little bit more complex. We are checking success. Okay, so remove this branch and set success. Then we don't need to check if it was success here. And completed. It will. I don't think we need to update the inventory because we're picking up all of the items. So this one we will remove. On completed, we go to here. This one, build loot inventory, we don't need it because we have picked up all the items from the loot. It's only if it's equals to chest. And that's pretty much it. Right, compile and save. Much easier function, and now in the further references we don't need to be checking anywhere if it was a success, so it will make all the functions so much easier. Now compile and save. we can actually test it out if some of the stuff that we have done works. So we're picking up items. I won't know anything really because we do have 36 slots in the inventory, so I won't be able to tell, but I believe it all is fine. Now one more thing we can do, we can actually show what inventory it is. So maybe here in the middle we can have play inventory, and then this one will be quiver. So in the inventory, select this one, the border. There is already images, so I'm just going to add one more text. It can be maybe same as this gold text block. Duplicate. This will be inventory type text. Let's anchor it to the middle of the slot. I'm going to make it smaller, like 20, so it actually centers it for me. And then bold is fine. Yeah, it's all good. We just need to set it so inventory type text. When we switch the widgets, or by default, let's set it to inventory. And then when we are clicking on the buttons down here, click inventory back button, we need to inventory type text, set text, to inventory, and here we'll set text to quiver. Test it out, inventory, quiver. Right, is that in the middle? Maybe the text needs to be centered as well. Yeah, so justification to center. Perfect. And now we have infinite inventories. We don't need to worry about picking up as many items as we want, and it will always scroll. You can even test it out by like duplicate as many items as you can from these ones, from armor or weapons that you actually have stack of 1, and then you will see it will start scrolling. We don't really need to do anything. Alright, so that is it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.